all these individual beads here, these discs.
There's a reason why ancient Egypt is considered one of the most intriguing civilizations in history. The pyramids and mummified remains have left behind a lot of things for us to remember them by.
A lady was riding a horse, and the leg of the horse fell down.
Although it's been centuries since we've begun excavating sites in Egypt, there's still a lot more to unearth. From a hidden chamber in the pyramid to the remains of a young boy and his 142 dogs. Here are the 10 strangest things recently discovered in Egypt. Number 1. Dogs and a little boy. Now here's a heartbreaking find. Recently, archaeologists unearthed a burial scene within the Fayum Oasis necropolis in Egypt. That's unprecedented. Here, the remains of a young child, estimated to be 8 to 9 years old, were found carefully laid atop the bodies of 142 dogs. This unusual find, dating between the 1st century BCE and the 1st century CE, has puzzled archaeologists since its discovery. Most of these dogs were puppies, comprising 87% of the total number. The remains of these animals showed no signs of harm, leading researchers to speculate on the cause of their simultaneous demise. The presence of blue clay on the dog suggests they might have rode due to a catastrophic flood, possibly linked to nearby reservoirs prevalent in ancient Egypt. The child's relationship with the dogs remains a subject of speculation. It's possible the child was tasked with caring for these animals. Another bizarre thing about the discovery is a linen bag placed around the child's head. To this day, we have yet to find the truth about the boy and his dogs. How did they perish? And what exactly was the boy's role to the deceased canines? Perhaps the sands of Egypt will reveal the answer in the future. Number 2. Mummified meat. In ancient Egypt, mummification wasn't just for humans and animals. Food, particularly meat, was also mummified for the afterlife. Researchers discovered mummified beef ribs and other meats that underwent preservation processes as elaborate as those used for human and animal mummies. But why? Well, in ancient Egypt, food prepared for the dead was meticulously preserved for the afterlife, akin to mummification processes used for humans and animals. High-standing individuals' tombs contained offerings like beef ribs and sliced goat meat treated with fats and resins to ensure preservation. This practice underscores the Egyptians' belief in an afterlife where the deceased would need sustenance, reflecting their wealth and the significance of food in their journey to the afterlife. Number 3. Pyramids of a mini camel. In 2017, archaeologists discovered a second pyramid bearing the name of Pharaoh, a mini camel at Dashur, Egypt, dating back approximately 3,800 years. This finding was particularly intriguing because another pyramid with camel's name had already been found in 1957. The pharaoh ruled during Egypt's Middle Kingdom. Unfortunately, we don't know much about this ruler, as his reign was brief, lasting only from 1793 BC to 1791 BC. While most pharaohs only had a single pyramid built after them, Pharaoh Amini Kamel had 2. And so these 2 pyramids remain a mystery to us today. And now it's time for today's topic. A 5,000-year-old book found in Egypt revealed a horrifying message about human existence. Archaeologists are often delighted by each discovery in Egypt, and yet this one seemed to have baffled them and shook them to the core. This book allegedly contains shocking revelations about the origins of malice and stories of so-called fallen celestial beings. There were also claims about the alleged end of our world and a time when humanity, every single one of us, would be judged. But of course, it's not our first time hearing about this. There are many claims about the end of the world and the end of humanity, but it seems like these premonitions won't come to fruition thus far. This book won't be the first bad omen coming from Egypt. After all, there's the famous curse of the pharaoh. And although there are deaths often linked to the incident, this alleged curse is also shrouded in skepticism. So, is there any truth about this alleged apocalypse? Well, again, only time will tell. Number 4. The God of Fun. In 2022, archaeologists discovered several pieces of gold jewelry in an ancient Egyptian burial. Among these are 3 rings, one featuring Bes, the god of fun. Sounds like an interesting deity, don't you think? In ancient Egypt, the god Bes was the epitome of fun and enjoyment. However, he was also the protector of children and considered a guardian during childbirth. Unlike the typical gods of Egyptian mythology, Bes had a unique appearance, a dwarf with a large head, long arms, and a protruding tongue, often depicted in a friendly and humorous manner. Bes was believed to ward off evil spirits and ensure safety and joy in households. His presence was common in Egyptian homes, on various objects, and even in maternity wards, symbolizing his role in everyday life and significant life. Number 5. Hidden Chamber in the Pyramid of Khufu. The 19th century marked a boom of interest in ancient Egyptian civilization as early as the 1830s. Excavations were carried out in the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was in the 1830s that researchers concluded that the Great Pyramid belonged to Pharaoh Khufu. And yet, to this day, we continue to discover unprecedented finds in the pyramid. The most recent is a hidden chamber that wouldn't have been found if it wasn't for the advancement in our technology. Archaeologists have discovered a massive 30-foot-long corridor right above the pyramid's entrance. This was made possible through cosmic ray imaging. This newly discovered corridor has sparked the imaginations of many, with some suggesting it could have been used to distribute the pyramid's immense weight or to relieve pressure around other internal structures. Some also believe it's a passageway to yet another undiscovered chamber inside the pyramid. I know you're curious, but unfortunately, it might be a while before we find out the truth about this tunnel. Is it an accidental feature or a deliberate addition to the pyramid? If so, what's its purpose? Again, it might take a while to find out the truth. Number 6. Gold tongues of ancient mummies. We've talked about mummies covered in gold, but these remains were discovered to have a peculiar feature. They were bestowed with golden tongues. A total of 16 of these mummies have been unearthed that Oxy ranks as of 2024. Initially, archaeologists were puzzled about what these golden tongues represent, but today we know the motive behind these shiny accessories. The ancient Egyptians most likely used these tongue-shaped gold foils as amulets to ensure that the deceased could speak in the afterlife, particularly to Osiris, the god of the underworld again. The ancient Egyptians believed that gold was the flesh of the gods. Without a golden tongue, one would be unable to speak and converse with the gods they would face in the afterlife. Well, this is yet again a funerary practice that was most likely accessible only to the richest at the time. Number 7. Mummy portraits. Now here's another discovery highlighting the significance of death and how the deceased were respected and remembered in ancient Egypt. The Fayum mummy portraits. The recent excavation in the Gaza archaeological site within the Fayum region, first identified in 2016, revealed a funerary structure filled with artifacts. Among these are exquisitely detailed mummy portraits and photos of the people behind the preserved mummies. These portraits, found for the first time in over a century, depict ancient Egyptians with realism and beauty. This recent find includes remarkably preserved portraits depicting individuals with striking realism, some still bearing expressions that seem to convey their personality across the ages. Additionally, it seemed like these portraits also showed the person's social status. After all, hiring an artist back then would have been something only a person of high status could afford. Although people buried in less intricate and simpler tombs were found with portraits, most of them weren't as realistic or as grand as those in the uppermost echelon at the time. Number 8. Security system in Khufu. Although we've already excavated the Pyramid of Khufu, did you know that archaeologists discovered a primitive security system within its confines? Yes, you heard that right. It seemed like builders thousands of years ago anticipated tomb raiders. The security known as a primitive machine consists of a sophisticated system of blocks, grooves, and shafts designed to thwart would-be grave robbers. Archaeologists fascinated by this ancient security mechanism have explored its intricacies. revealing a network intended to protect the mummified body of Pharaoh Khufu and his treasures. The system consisted of several granite blocks dropped into grooves and down shafts to block the entrances to the king's chamber, a design known to archaeologists for over 2 centuries. Unfortunately for those who made it, their clever engineering didn't prevent the pyramid from being robbed. The thefts didn't occur in modern times, but rather sometime after Khufu's reign ended, before the collapse of the Old Kingdom around 2134 BC. Yet the presence of such security features has led some researchers to speculate that the actual burial chamber of Pharaoh Khufu, along with his treasures, might still lie undiscovered within the pyramid. Well, only time can tell. Number 9. Protective childbirth tattoos in the heart of ancient Egypt. Nestled within the artisan community of DRL Medina, a fascinating discovery unveiled the deep-rooted beliefs and practices surrounding childbirth and protection. This town, which thrived from 1550 to 1070 BC, was home to the workers and their families who constructed the majestic tombs for Egyptian royalty. It's here that researchers stumbled upon the remains of women adorned with protective childbirth tattoos. The tattoos, discovered on 2 female mummies from this era, were not mere decorations, but held a significant purpose. One mummy showcased a tattoo depicting a bull, a purification ritual, and Bes, the Egyptian god known for safeguarding women and children, especially during childbirth. The other mummy examined through infrared photography to preserve its wrappings for a tattoo featuring the widget, or the Eye of Horus, alongside an image of Bes wearing a crown of feathers and a zigzag line beneath, likely symbolizing cooling waters used for pain relief during childbirth. These tattoos were believed to serve as a plea for protection during the birthing process, invoking the benevolence of Bes to ensure the safety of mother and child. Number 10. 41-million-year-old whale. This year, scientists discovered a miniature whale species named Tacitus resonances in Egypt dating back 41 million years. This creature was an ancient miniature whale species. This species is notable for being the smallest known basilisk whale, although its size made it look adorable, at least for a whale. It was most likely among the most ferocious creatures in the ocean back then, having the same diet as modern dolphins. Subsequent research revealed that these whale is most likely fed on small squid and crustaceans, a contrast to most whale species today that only feed on plankton. It was believed that this creature weighed only about 400 pounds and measured about 8 feet long. For comparison, modern whales range from 8.5 ft to a staggering 98 ft and sometimes more. Ancient Egypt is truly an astounding civilization, but if there's one mystery about them that you'd like to finally be solved, which one is it? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.